Coming live from Florida, USA is our guest tonight. Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And before I move forward, may I request you to subscribe, follow, like, and comment on whichever platform you're watching or listening to this show on. And today we have ST Rappaport, productivity coach. Welcome to the show, ST.
Hey, thank you so much, AJ. I'm super excited to be here talking with you.
Same here, same here. And it's early morning there, and it's around 7:35 in the evening. So, and at this hour we'll be talking about how one can rewire their brain to become more efficient and effective, and as well as they'll experience some inner peace. So straight way to the question, ST, is that firstly let us understand why some people are productive enough and some people are not that much productive. How does it happen?
Yes, that's a very interesting question. And I'm probably not going to give you the answer that most people would give you. Most people like to say, like, they're born naturally and that's the way that they are, right? Some people are so called more productive and some people are lazy. Now, why is it that some people are born productive? It's not that they have the ability to be, not that they are naturally productive. It's because of the way their brain is thinking. Okay. Everything comes back to higher thinking. So thinking is not one big thing. Thinking is made up of 28 parts called cognitive functions. Okay. Now we all have stronger cognitive functions and we all have weaker ones. But if you have certain or a lot of cognitive functions that are really weak, what's going to happen is it's going to cause you to not be productive. So to become more productive, you have to improve those cognitive functions.
Okay, okay. So how does this cognitive function comes in? You said 28 things are there that guess that are there in the way of accomplishing that your goals. Can you explain that bit a bit more? And if you can name some of the things, so that we can get a better sense of exactly how our brain works, how it takes care of, we earlier we thought that we think the way we want to think about things, and actually it's the other way around.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example to explain cognitive functions and how it's affecting your productivity. Okay. So one of the cognitive functions is called systematic search. It's being able to look for things in an organized manner, being able to take in information in an organized manner. So let's say, for example, you are missing your phone. Okay. You have a phone to do your work, to be productive, to make phone calls, whatever you're doing. You have your phone. Now, if you're missing your phone and you are looking for everywhere, right? You're looking in your kitchen, you're looking in your bedroom, you're looking all over the place. What ends up happening is, for most people who have this weak cognitive function of systematic
Okay.
search, is they end up looking in the same place a few times and they miss where the phone actually is. Why is that? It's because their brain is looking everywhere and anywhere without having a system to follow it through. When you have a system, then your brain says, okay, I know that I am looking from the beginning of my room all the way around till the end of the room, from top to bottom, left to right, in an order. This way, number one, I cover every place and I don't miss any place. That way I know I'm going to find it. And number two, the brain can calm down and actually find it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay, so cognitive functions, they actually take they, they have a big role in how we do our day-to-day work. That some people know, some people do not know in that manner. But is it because people age so you lose your cognitive functions, or is it for any other reason that your brain does not function so actively? You just took the example of finding your phone. Now every phone company, they give you that facility that it will help you, it will beep and you can do something with the with somewhere else, and your phone will ring even if it's anywhere else in the room. Now, is it because of technologies like this that you are not using your cognitive functions to the maximum, and then you have to depend on technologies, or is it that because of old age or because of aging it happens, or it can happen with younger people also. How does it work?
Yes, so there's many, many factors that affect cognitive functions. First of all, it could be genetics because of the way genetics simply like that, you have stronger and weaker cognitive functions. That could be first of all. Second of all, it could be your environment. So even if you don't have that weak cognitive function, if you grow up in an environment where either your parents or teachers or staff are teaching you based on how their brain is thinking, then they are training you to think in a way that weakens your cognitive functions. Does that make sense? Right. Now,
Okay.
it could also be other outside situations. So, yes, brain injuries can weaken cognitive functions, age can weaken cognitive function, um, and most definitely technology. When we anything that's in the outside environment that's gonna some way affect your brain can affect your cognitive functions. But just like it could make your cognitive functions weaker, at the same way it could make your cognitive functions stronger. So I don't want you to think that that's it. You're doomed. You're just going to have weak cognitive functions. Even when you grow old, you can improve your cognitive functions and use that to your benefit. Do whatever you can to improve your cognitive functions so that way they become stronger.
Okay. So you can regain cognitive functions. That's good news.
Yes. Any age, any stage, no matter what diagnosis, if you got like some mental health issue, whatever it is, no matter your situation, you can improve your cognitive functions and become stronger.
Okay. Okay. What? By eating nuts, almonds? That's way?
I wish it was that easy, right?
I was just joking. I will ask you about the details. I thought maybe, that's why some people say if you lose your cognitive functions or you talk something else, then you say, you have gone nuts. Maybe it has
Oh,
nuts have something to
I
do.
like that one. It happens to be there are certain foods that are very good for your brain and will keep your brain more active, which will make the activities that you need to do to improve your cognitive functions work better, faster, and easier. So, yes, 100% what you're eating is affecting your brain, but not directly.
Right, right. I'll ask on the food part also, and exactly the scientific way you can gain some of your cognitive functions. But firstly, ST just wanted to understand, so that for the audience also they should know the credibility, the authenticity of information, or learning that they are getting from you. So just to understand, how did you get started in the work that you are doing and getting into giving advice, talking about this whole lot of cognitive functions and gaining your brain function better and rewiring your brain without getting into technical operations and all. How do you do that? So how did you get into this particular line of work?
Yeah, don't worry. I didn't make it up. This has been going on since like the 1950s. They've been discussing this. Okay. Um, but when I was a kid, I was like struggling with reading. And so my parents brought in these what's called Feuerstein mediators. Okay. Professor Feuerstein is someone who identified the 20 cognitive functions, right? It's the way your brain is thinking. So he didn't make them up. He just noticed what they were and put them in a comprehensive program to help you improve them. So I got those sessions as a kid and I saw how much it did for my life and like all areas of my life. Because remember, cognitive functions are at the core, they're your thinking skills. So it's not just helping one thing. It's not just going to help you just with productivity or just with school or just with one area of work, because it's how you're actually thinking. All areas of your life improve. So once I saw what it did to me, I was like, I need to get trained in this. So since I was 17, I started getting trained in it. And every year I'd go take more and more advanced trainings. And yeah, now I do it full time and it is so much fun.
Okay, okay. So now coming to the getting back of cognitive functions. Firstly, you must tell people exactly, people know about the good things that you can do naturally. Then there is a loss of some functions you don't remember exactly, you don't realize that it has been, and then you know that you are not as powerful or as quick in thinking about things as you would were earlier on. So how does improving cognitive functions actually help one's life? If you can elaborate on that, then people will actually understand and move towards regaining their cognitive functions back.
Yeah. So when you have a weak cognitive function, you are doing things almost in a backwards way or in a way that's like not, it's taking you very long and very hard. Now, the reason why you don't think it's very hard is because you've been doing it your whole life. But
Okay.
if you could change it, you would say, oh my goodness, how on heaven's earth was I able to act like that before? Because now you see the smarter way of working. Let me give you a personal example so that way you'll be able to see exactly what. Okay. For a very long time, I always would do everything right now. That means if I would have an assignment, I would do it right now. If I had something to do for work, I would do it right now. Whatever came, anything I had to do, it happened this minute. Now, I thought that was really good. I was being really productive. I was getting things done. I wasn't wasting time. It was amazing. Except here was the problem. If I needed something, like I knew I needed something from the grocery store, okay? Let's say I know I needed something from the grocery store, but it's not an emergency. I would still go to the grocery store because I need to do it right now. Now, tomorrow, I might need another thing from the grocery store. So I'm going to go again to the grocery store. So what would happen is I would keep on wasting my time going to places and doing things over and over again when I could have just gone to the grocery store once, buy everything I need for the whole week, and then saves tons of time, right? And the reason why my brain didn't have the ability to do that was because I had a weak cognitive function of categorizations. One of the cognitive functions is called categorizing, and it's being able to group things and putting things together. My brain didn't have the ability to say, okay, this is a group that is going to go together and it is going to stay on the back burner. I am going to give back to it. I am not forgetting about it. I'm not saying you're not important. I am simply saying that right now is not the right time, because when I do it later, it's going to be better. It's going to be more efficient and even more effective. So in the beginning, it was really hard for me because I was like, no, I want to do this now. I want to go to the grocery store right now and get this thing so that way I could forget about it and I don't have to worry about it. And I don't have to think about it, right? No. Once I've started saying, hey, I could just go to the grocery store tomorrow or the next day and buy everything at the same time, I started realizing how many hours of my life I was wasting going back and forth to different places when I could have done it all together. Doing different tasks, right? We do this with email. As soon as an email comes in, we need to answer it right away. Now, instead, no. One time a day, I go to my email, I answer all my emails, and I save tons of time of opening the app, checking through. Oh, right. Everything that I could do together, I do all at the same time together. So now my brain sees that before it was bad, even though then I didn't realize what I have now. So you or everybody listening here is currently doing something that they don't realize is not so efficient. It's not so effective. You need to have an outside source, either someone come and tell you, or for you to observe other people, to observe something on the outside, to see if that way is going to be more efficient.
Right, right, ST. So you see, you advise a lot of uh, clients. You tell them exactly, businessmen, entrepreneurs. You tell them how to be more productive. Now, listening to you, exactly how can one be, uh, productive in day-to-day life? One is the way they actually are doing it now, and they can still make it better, and another is that how can they bring about change in the way they think, how their brain functions, to make them more productive, and in several cases to regain their cognitive functions back. How do you train them? What are the problems that they come with, business people, to you, that you solve them? If you can tell us on that.
Yes. So now this is always my hardest question to answer, because there are 28 cognitive functions. And that means not only there are 28 different ways where your brain could be thinking, it could also depend on the combination of those 28 cognitive functions. So two people might be struggling with the cognitive function of blurred perception, which is another
Okay.
cognitive function, by the way. But when it combines with different cognitive functions, it affects differently. So I can't just go and tell you, do these 5 things and your brain will be productive. I could give you some productivity tips. I can say things that I've seen often, but that is just putting on a band-aid. It's not solving the actual issue of how your brain is working. So I know people like tangible things. They don't want me to just say, oh, okay, nah, thank you very much, but now tell me what to do, right? We want tactics. So I'm going to be giving you 2 things. First, I'll tell you how to find out what your cognitive deficiencies are so that way you know which ones to do. Second, I'll
Okay.
give you some practical tips, but you must remember that they are band-aids. They are not actually rewiring your brain. Okay. So first of all, to identify which one of your 28 cognitive functions, I created a cognitive function assessment for people to, takes less than 10 minutes. You just download it and you assess how strong each one of your cognitive functions are. You can find that at lifepixuniversity.com/CF for cognitive functions. So that's lifepix, PIX, university.com/CF. Then with that, you will identify what your weak ones are and email me back. Tell me which ones you specifically are struggling with, and I'll have no problem giving you personal advice. Okay. That's first of all. Now, general productivity tips. Here are some things that I found super helpful for people. Okay. Number one is always planning your day either the night before or in the morning. That depends on the person. When you have a plan, then you can go follow it through, check things off, and like you'll stay on track. However, some people might be struggling with making a plan. Why? Back to cognitive functions. If you have a cognitive deficiency, it might be hard for you to make a plan. That's one of them. Another thing is really helpful for people when making a plan is for the next week, time your tasks, everything that you do often, time to see how long it actually takes you, right? Because sometimes we think, hey, a shower takes me 10 minutes, but we don't realize the shower actually takes me 20. So we're blocking off in our calendar 10 minutes and then it's really 20. And then we're just always running late because it happens over and over and over again throughout our entire schedule. So instead, for the next week, just don't make a plan. Just time how long things actually take you. So you'll see, okay, one day my shower took me 18 minutes. The next day my shower took me 20. And the next day it took me 19. I know average I need 19, 20 minutes to take my shower, right? And from now on, when you plan taking your shower, you'll make sure to leave 19 minutes. So time your tasks.
Okay. Okay, Steve. So regaining your lost cognitive functions and rewiring your brain, are they the same thing or different things?
So improve, what do you say?
Regaining your cognitive
Regaining your
functions.
cognitive functions, yeah.
Yes. And rewiring your brain to what? To increase your productivity. Are they two different things or the same thing?
I'm not sure what you mean by dividing your brain.
Rewiring. When you say
rewiring your brain.
Rewiring, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it is the same thing. Exactly. Because what happens is when you do new and challenging things, when you show your brain new ways, new strategies, you are actually in your brain creating new neuron connections. Okay. In your brain, you have neurons, you have dendrites. Those dendrites create new neuron connections, and you're actually creating new paths so that your brain thinking patterns, instead of going down the old way, are now going down the new way.
Okay. So you also talk about, IQ, that you can do something about it. You can make your IQ better. You can raise it further. How does one do that? Is it the same way you can do that? Because a lot of people have, as you generally say, you have a low IQ. Somebody has a high IQ. Now, can they change that with the tips that you share? How do they do that if they have to learn something on this?
Yeah, so let me first make a disclaimer that I don't believe in IQ, meaning people use IQ, but IQ isn't super accurate and it doesn't really tell us anything, because all it's telling us is that in this state, in the time that the person was taking their test, this is how their brain was currently working if the test was done accurately. It doesn't explain to them what their brain's thinking capabilities actually are. So, to answer your question, 100% your IQ can change, because as you improve your cognitive functions, yes, as you do these things, your IQ goes up. I think at some point they did research on this and they said something like 70 sessions or something of rewiring your brain like raises your IQ every 70 sessions. But obviously it will depend on the person and what's actually happening. But I don't tell people to worry about it. Like, don't think about it. If someone gave you an IQ, like put it on the side and pretend it was about something else. Doesn't mean anything, because it literally just labels people, tells them, okay, you're dumb or you're stupid. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do, which is not really true, because that's how you were at the time of the test.
Okay. It is basically assessment at a particular point in time, and it does not have to be permanent at all.
Exactly. Very well said. Yes.
So why does it actually come out as a stigma that you had a low IQ or you have a low IQ? I mean, where did it start at all? Where did it come from? That's thank God I did not take any IQ test. I'm doing fine, and I feel fine. So
Yeah,
just
exactly.
right, right. I mean, I'm surprised that something that can change every time that you improve your capacities, like you improve any other capacity, your brain capacity, or the way you look at solve problems, solve at certain things that somebody else gives you, that can raise your marks or lower it. Even the best person can go down, and the so-called uh, not so good person can also raise his level or the or marks on that. Now, coming to your, there is so much you have already spoken now. You have already shared your tips, how one can do it. Uh, in a nutshell, if you can tell somebody that from the right now, if somebody has to start, becoming better at productivity, what are the few things that they should just keep in mind without remembering anything else?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say to really just learn new things and put yourself in new experiences, because every time you try something new, you take a new class, you visit a new place, you even go to a new store that you've never been to before, your brain is challenged and has to work harder. It has to not just go on default and do on the routine, it actually has to think about it. So while you're doing those new things, first of all, you're improving your brain, but more than that, think about what you're doing in this new situation and how you could bring it back to your work, how you could bring it back to your home, how you could bring it back to your productivity based on the things that you've learned in that new situation.
Okay. Okay, okay, Steve. Now let people know more about it, about what you offer, what are your services from your website, and more on that, because we can't talk everything at the in just a half an hour. There is so much; it's a large area, and so much is there extra to learn. So, St, if you can tell how people can connect with you, how businesses globally from India, how they can connect with you, individuals if they want to take your services, how can they connect with you?
Yes. So, first of all, you could check out my podcast, which is Life Picks University. So that's Life Picks, Pix University. And they're going to also find a lot more about cognitive functions and how to become more productive. Super practical. And if you want to just connect with me anywhere, social media, website, all of that, you just have to remember Life Picks University. And wherever you search it, that's what you're going to find.
Right, SG, right. I will also, add as much information about your services, about your website and all onto the YouTube description, so that people will find it easy to reach you. So,
Amazing.
thank you very much for helping us understand this part of how things work with the brain, how one can become better and in terms of productivity. So with this, it's a wrap on this edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, AJ.